1, rolling. Marlboro Man here for WHAM TV. We have a Mutiny Television, for those of you who don't know. Anyway, we're here with the new AP Josh, that's assistant producer, and we're actually going to go ahead and comment on some of today's current events. Mainly Trump blaming both sides for the incidents that happened in Charlottesville. And just so you, the viewing audience, know, Josh, JT Scarecrow here, has come all the way from Virginia to escape the treacheries of the South just to join top of the line so that he could have a better life than anything that could be offered possibly in the South. They're obviously fighting with each other, and it's not a good thing. They're in turmoil, and who's gonna prosper under a tyranny of turmoil? All right, so I've laid it out. Let's go on now, Josh. Why don't you go ahead and enlighten us a little bit about what is going on down there, and why you decided to leave the whole treachery. And not only that, but give us some insights on how you like it here in beautiful downtown Chicagoland somewhere. We have to keep our locations top secret now because we developed an enemies list for some reason. I don't know. If you're on the enemies list, can you get off of that, please? Because we don't need more enemies. We're doing a good thing. Helping the disadvantaged and the underprivileged. Anyway, speaking of which, Josh.
Yes. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Josh, or otherwise known as JT Scarecrow. Okay? Now, the incident or the events that took place in Charlottesville, Virginia, really, and I mean really, does break my heart. It's not only because of the violence that erupted. It's also the fact that the race card that was played just in such a way that I honestly cannot put it into words. And with my state in Virginia, I knew I was going to have to leave at some point because of all the events worldwide. And the day that I moved out here to where I am now, it's been different. There's a lot less tension. And I'm actually very happy with my life here. Now, for the death or deaths that did take place in Charlottesville, Virginia, over some major, and in my opinion, a major racial cause and tension over some bullshit, if you don't mind me to say. It honestly blows my mind. It really does. I do not accept it. I do understand both sides. But what a lot of people do not seem to realize is you can't blame both sides. You just cannot. That's just not acceptable. And with that being said, our now President Donald Trump actually has came out and said he blames both sides for the violence that erupted over that weekend. Now, the way I see it, there can be two sides. I understand that. But once one person starts a violent action, someone from another side will pick that violent action up, and it just becomes just complete hell. It turns hectic, and that's one thing we don't need.
I can actually speak to that, and I lost my card. Oh well. We'll have to read that joke another time. Anyway, I can actually speak to that. Both sides. I was at all of the Trump rallies. I was at every one of them, and I did see, unfortunately, from the left, the leftists, you have a problem with anger. You're constantly, there goes my joke, blowing away in the wind.
Just blowing away.
Blowing away. You have a lot of anger, leftist people. Why, the right, at least they try to argue in a civilized fashion. They actually try to speak to you, use English words, things like that. But yet you want to throw rocks and pelt them with rotten fruit and things like that. Why? I don't understand it. Okay? You threw eggs at a lady who was there to support women's rights. You did that. The left did that. If it was one person who was just a whack job, that's fine. But you need to admit to that type of thing, just the way that we're admitting to that type of thing. Sometimes, once in a while, you'll end up with a whack job. Okay? And I agree with Trump. I think it was the fault of both sides, because one side, like Josh just mentioned, one side had to start it. Somebody threw a rotten egg at someone else, okay? And and once that happens, you have to throw the rotten egg back. That's what we practice with anarchy. It's do no harm, but accept no aggression, but take no shit, right? And I'm sorry, but if somebody is going to go ahead and start throwing rotten eggs at me, well, you damn well better believe that I'm going to be throwing some right back. Anyway. Indeed. Well, I guess that about wraps it up tonight for Top of the Line Productions. This is our Humanities series, and we're in association with Outer Heaven Generation. And thanks again for all the help and all the support and all the wonderful, wonderful words, and your critiques are second to none. I gotta say, I'm very, very impressed with your critiques of the show. Yes, we are going to continue to try to do heartfelt things, and you know what? I'm going to hand it to Josh. I'm going to go grab that joke that flew away, just so at least I can tell you, because somebody wrote that in. And hold on one second. Here, Josh, can you hold the audience for just a moment?
Oh, yeah, sure. I would love to. But, yeah, his joke just flew straight out the window, man. It just flew, And, sometimes, like, in life...
I found it. Okay, so here it is. This joke comes in from Brandon. Come on in here. Get in the picture. There we go. That's a little better. See, can you see how we do organization here at Top of the Line? We don't take anything less than organization. Exactly. This was sent in by Brandon, and his joke is that Trump's cabinet is falling apart like a poorly assembled cabinet from IKEA. And I happen to think that that's hilarious, and it is true. Trump's cabinet, unfortunately, was poorly assembled by people who purchased it from IKEA. Now, thank you very much. You all have a good night. Marlboro Man for WHAM TV. We have a Mutiny Television and WHAM Radio. Don't forget to listen to WHAM Radio. We have a Mutiny Radio. That's a 40-minute long show, which pays for just about all of this. So, Josh, any last words?
Yes, I do. Always remember... And always try to remember to spread peace, love, and unity. Unity is a very big thing these days that we need to get straightened up. Take care, people.
Unity, I can agree with. Have a good night. Be safe, folks.